Access training. This is our, I'm sure, heavily sanitized book, Principles in Practice. Does this one still have a cover? Yeah. So if you don't have this book, it is, I don't know how close I need to get here. C.K. Chu, Tai Chi Chuan Principles in Practice. All right, that's close enough. Yeah, so Chapter 6, I believe, Yang Chin Fu's Chapter 7, I misspoke, Yang Chin Fu's 10 important points. This is the 10 important points that we're basing this unit on. So if you've never been through this unit before, what these are sort of 10 guidelines for improving your Tai Chi once you have kind of the moves memorized. So if this is your first class ever, well, I'd ask how you got into Black Sash training today. So no, if this is your first class ever, it might mean less to you than if you've had some practice with the form, right? But even if it means less for you, you could still get something out of it. So if you don't know the form at all, it'll be just copying along with the form with this idea of one of these 10 important points. If you do know the form, try to drop just for this time. Well, we'll talk about that later, how to do it. So anyway, first important point, light and swift, if the head is though suspended from above. Obviously it's an English translation of 4 words in Chinese. But light and swift with the head as though suspended from above. So that's the points are pretty short like that, and then the commentary is from Yang Chin Fu's senior student, and it kind of goes on a little farther. So it says, with the head as though suspended from above means the head should be vertical and straight, so the spirit will go all the way to the top of the head. Do not use strength. If you use strength, then you will be stiff. The blood and chi will not circulate well. Have the idea of lightness and swiftness and naturalness. If you do not have lightness and swiftness, and the head as though suspended from above, then your spirit will not be able to be lifted up. Yeah. So the main physical thing going on here is just that first sentence. So keep the head pretty vertical, straight. If you can imagine it being suspended from above, that'll give you the right kind of feel through the head, which connects through the spine to the rest of the body to affect the alignment of your motion. A very, very simple way to come at this is just to start not looking down. So if you're like me, you're learning the form, and you want to get the feet right, so you start looking down as part of your form. And then you might even kind of memorize or habituate in some of those looking down moments, right? So this will be a beginning of trying to weed out any habit you have of looking down at your feet while you do the Tai Chi. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the sort of simplest way into it. So let's try a couple. We can usually get through the first section 2 or 3 times if I don't talk too much. So let's try it now with just that simple goal first of catch yourself if you're looking at your feet. Don't get mad at yourself. Just stop looking at your feet if you catch yourself. So here we go. Begin. And we'll just move continuously without names. Actually, no, I take that back. For those at home, I'll say some of the names just in case you don't want to look over your shoulder. Here's a worn off right. Remember, just focus on not looking down. Pull back, press, and push. I'm going to keep moving continuously. Just throw out occasional cues if I think it might help. Now we're going single whip, turning around. Turning forward. brush knee push section, first guitar. If you haven't done it in a while, you feel rusty, that is normal. If you haven't done these moves in a while and they're not coming to you right away, don't feel bad. Just try to kind of sync up with me, keep the goal, not looking at your feet. Second guitar. Last brush knee. Hidden hand punch. Draw and push. Cross hand. Okay, so how did that go? Did you catch yourself trying to look down? I may or may not have. So I said there's more to the idea. We have time to run it at least one more time. So what is the more to the idea? Well, what are some of the associations that would go with feeling like your body was light, swift, and suspended from above? Just go ahead and think about it for a second, or kind of feel internally what that might be like. Well, part of it goes with our little tucking of the chin thing, right? So if you imagine the spine coming out of the head, like continuing its, if it would just kept on coming the way it was going, it would come out of the head, not up towards the front, but kind of back a little bit. So see if you can kind of feel where that would be, just with your fingers, just so you can get a feeling in your head, on your scalp, like where you might lift from. So feel that, turn the crown, so your chin won't be out, right? Because that actually bunches the spine up and it's not connecting with right. So let your chin tuck, and then imagine lifting. If you're into sci-fi, picture like an anti-gravity beam. They didn't have those in ancient China, right? So, or you can just imagine a marionette from that point. Think of how much tension would be in a marionette. Just the weight of the hands on the arms, right? Word of caution. So Grandmaster Gohring gave me this word of caution, and I'm going to pass it on to you. And that's, don't tense your neck up for head suspended. So you could with a tense neck, get it in the right place and hold it there. And now I've got my head suspended because it's lined up correctly, right? Now, relax the neck, because think back to the suspended idea. There's no stiffness in that suspension. And if you can picture or visualize that process going all the way down through the spine to where it's, kind of like tucked pelvis a little bit. So let's keep that idea in mind, and we'll go through it one more time. Any questions? I want to give you a chance to do that. Go ahead. So feel that lifting. Feel the lifting and the relaxation. And as we go through it, when you find yourself thinking of other things, go back to that lifting and relaxation. And begin. Soft in the neck. Lifting through the head. Go a hair slower than last time. This is too slow for you. Try not to get frustrated. Just kind of hang out. When you find yourself ahead, just hang out till I catch up. Feel through the top of the head. hands now. You're not struggling with the moves. Feel the top of the head. Every time you're turning, feel the top of the head. Every time you sink, feel the top of the head. First and top. Top of the head, relaxed neck. Closing in on the end of our brush knee push section. Relax the neck, feel the top of the head with the lift. Draw, push. Okay, release. Very good. So, I hope that was informative to you. Remember, I mean, as we go through these 10 important points, it's not like information to know. I mean, you want to know it as information first, but that doesn't really get too much. It's a mindset to practice with, right? So the time spent going through your form with this on your mind is what will affect your form. It's gonna sound strange, but you'll see it happen with time, with practice. So these are just ideas to keep playing with to get yourself out of the rut of whatever you've memorized so far, right? And to approach it fresh. Questions, comments, suggestions? Our life skill is the creative spirit, the one that sees no obstacles, if you recall. The path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit, oh, it has no self-doubt, that's right, it makes sense, yeah. Path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit has no self-doubt. Yeah. Path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit has no self-doubt. Path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit has no self-doubt. Out to fellow beginner students, and access training dismissed. Very good.